I'd like to bring to order the Town Council meeting of September 21st. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk.
Councilor Edwards?
Present.
Councilor Janick?
Present.
Councilor Edwards?
Present.
Councilor deMedeiros?
Present.
Councilor Burk?
Present.
Councilor Milbourne?
Present.
All present.
At this time, I would like a moment of silence for Councilor Joe Perry. He was not only a great loss to us, but to the entire Tiverton community. Thank you. Consent agenda, approval of Town Council minutes, September 11th, regular meeting, September 5th, special joint meeting. Acknowledge receipt of minutes from boards and commissions and committees. Board of Canvassers, 2. Cemetery Commission, 1. Acknowledge receipts of reports, Treasurer Saurette, August 2023, Budget and Revenue Reports. Acknowledge receipts of correspondence, Ms. Carol Herman, Chair Library Board of Trustees, letter regarding Dog Park Special Event and Library Landscaping Project. Approval of tax assessor abatement, $1,707.34. Would any of the Town Council like to remove anything from the consent agenda?
Madam President, 4C.
Anyone else? I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda excluding 4C.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Councilor Edwards?
So on the second page of the treasurer's report, it shows that we took in FY 2023 and FY 2022 2.993 and then 2.994 million from the casino gaming. I'm curious as to why the state fell short on the $3 million guarantee.
So.
Look at the total.
I don't believe there's a shortage. I believe it's a timing issue.
Yeah.
I think that's what the cash receipts were, but as July 1st comes, there is some money that comes in. I just don't know if, I'll talk to Denise about that, but I'm almost positive that it's basically a timing issue.
This has happened before. It's quarterly returns.
Yeah,
and
but FY '22 is still
Yeah,
showing
that's the
a
issue. Is
shortfall. So if that were the case, that should be up to 3 million.
they owe $6,000 or $12,000 at this point.
Well, it should be 3,200.
No, it's about 5.
3.2 million.
6 and 6 roughly each year.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Denise about it, but I don't.
It's trivial, but it's still money that we're owed.
No, and I'll put it on the next agenda, so we'll get the answer. Thank you,
Okay.
John. I'd like to
Motion.
entertain the motion.
Motion to approve 4C.
Second.
Motion been made in second. All those in favor? All right, where's Officer Blue? I have my treats. If any of the children in the audience want to join me, you can come up and watch and swear in Officer Blue with me.
Okay, we got a professional here. I was going to take a picture, but we have a professional.
You want to come out and see Blue? No, it's okay. Blue has friends here tonight, guys. Yeah, come on.
Come on, Blue.
Come on, Blue.
You got to learn how to take commands.
Right in front of me.
Look at all his friends.
I would like all his friends to come right in front here and sit behind him. Can you all sit for me? Blue.
one's from Somerset. I don't know where that one's from.
All right, you ready, Blue?
It's from Somerset. I don't know where that one's from.
Now, the police chief wrote this for me, and it's kind of funny. I state your name. He may need help with this, he wrote. Blue, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and obey the laws of the United States of America and of the state of Rhode Island, and Officer Sean. And I will, in all respects, observe the provisions of the Charter and ordinance of the town of Tiverton, and will faithfully discharge the duties of comfort therapy dog for the town of Tiverton, so help me God. Blue, give me your paw. Look, give me your paw. You gotta swear.
He likes it up there.
You guys wanna come see him, or no? You can if you want.
The dog's gonna get fat before he gets old.
No, not at all. He definitely not shut. And Madam President, if I could, just to take a couple minutes, I know I want to acknowledge all of the Cranston Police Comfort Dog, the Seekonk Police Comfort Dog, and the Bristol Police Comfort Dog for coming out and paying respects to our comfort dog getting sworn in tonight. I'd also like to acknowledge that in the room tonight is Kim Ward and the members of Bally's Tiverton Casino, who are making a donation in the amount of $5,000 for Blue. And also Jeff Gray from VD Tiverton, who's making a donation for $2,500. Also, the power plant is making a donation. And the power plant could not be here tonight, but they are going to make a donation for Blue's account in the amount of $2,000.
That's Blue, guys. Blue, look what you got. Blue's all into his cookies right now.
Blue, you gotta get there.
Go on the inside.
Well, table's okay, right? So my worry is about how this one is gonna get played out. That'll last forever. We're gonna have to set up an account.
What's the big fuss?
Very nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you.
And I think Officer Blue's extended family's in the room too, so if Officer Blue's extended family wants to come in, come on, let's go. Yeah. Can't say no to the police chief, come on. Step right up. You're welcome.
Get up there so you can get in a picture, come on. Photo ops, they're important.
I know.
Thank you.
So, yes. Oh, Somerset. Somerset, I said Somerset. And gentlemen, I'll ask you, you can't put your dogs on the table, I don't think. But if you want to swing around so we can get some pictures, we'd appreciate it.
Oh, everybody pick them up? You're not picking them up.
The poor guy didn't even pick up that one.
Yeah, there you go, Chief. He's got, he doesn't want anything to do with it. There's my treat. Show off.
Jolie, you gonna do it?
Men on the door. He said they get trees and men on the door. I know.
To get one of those patient lift things.
Did you get as big as that? Did you get as big as that?
Thank you. Thank you for, yeah. I got a female rider that was sitting there.
He said
That was this one.
the was
I know, right?
He's content, huh? Oh, he's got his cookie still.
All right, so this is a tough act to follow, but I'll do the best I can. I will tell you that Councilor Perry right now is looking down at us and smiling. So I'm glad we can make a sad moment such a good moment. So thank you. Public comment. Carol Herman, Dog Park Fundraiser. Carol, would you mind?
I'm happy to wait if that works better.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Public hearing advertised, discussion and possible vote. Approval of proposed amendment to the Tiverton Code of Ordinances, Chapter 74, Taxation, Article 2, Property Tax Exception, Division, Economic Development Real Estate Exception, and Division 6, Visually Impaired Person, to delete Division 5, Section 7479 through 7485, to amend Section 74-90 to increase the tax credit from $300 to $330. Chris?
This
Yes.
this is to bring this is the one we missed when we did all the others.
Yep.
And increased exemptions by 10%. So this was at the actually back of the code, and I think that it was an oversight. So, but do you have to do a public hearing, open it up to the public, or?
Yeah, we do. But any questions from the council before I start? I'd like to open the public hearing. Anyone in the audience like to comment on this? Anyone in the audience? I'm going to close the public hearing and ask for a vote. Ask for a motion.
Madam President,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we amend the Tiverton Code of Ordinances, Chapter 74, Taxation, Article 2, Property Tax Exemptions, Division 5, Economic Development, Real Estate Exemptions, and Division 6, Visually Impaired Persons, to delete Division 5, Section 74-79 through 74-85, and to amend Section 74-90 to increase the tax credit from $300 to $330.
Motion made in second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Approval of the proposed amendment to the Tiverton Code of Ordinances, Chapter 58, Peddlers and Solicitors, Article 2, Peddlers and Hawkers, to move the annual renewal date from current May 1st annually to 1 year from the date of issuance. Would anybody like to comment before I open the public meeting?
Want Joan to explain?
Joan, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have one change. It says all licenses issued under this article. There are multiple types of licenses. There's a daily, weekly, monthly, as well as the annual. So this really should say all annual licenses under this article shall expire 1 year from the date of their issuance, unless renewed by the applicant. So,
On the sentence before that.
yep.
All right, thank you. I'd like to open up the public hearing. Would anyone like to comment? Public hearing is open. Anyone like to comment? Okay, I'd like to I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Madam President,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve or pass the ordinance with the amendment to include all annual licenses as opposed to all licenses.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Planning Board. It's a 9-member board, 3-year term, 2 vacancies. Term 7/15/2024, term expiring 7/15/2026. Christopher Shriver and Adam Raposa, I spoke to both of them individually. They weren't here at the last meeting. Adam's unable to attend until October because of classes he's taken. So I talked to Christopher, and both of them will be here on the first meeting of October, which is 10/9. And they said they were 10/10, I'm sorry. And they said that they would be here. So the next one is VA Lopes, 267 Deer Run Road, request appointment. Is VA Lopes here? Come on up. Hi, you can take a seat, relax. The question I ask everybody is, why are you interested in the planning board?
So I just recently moved back to the South Coast last year to Tiverton after 30 years. And just my job as a strategist has taught me, kind of post-pandemic world, that one of the things that's happening globally is that we're bringing manufacturing and agriculture back in country. And so being, part of any board or commission in this town, I think is really relevant to that because of our agricultural infrastructure here and how important that can be, not just for our town, but for the region and the state. And then it could potentially lead to kind of leading some of those changes that are happening in the country. So, and the sustainability aspect is something that I am very passionate about, so.
Thank you. Any questions from the council?
Can I just ask, what is a healthcare strategist?
So not to quote Vanilla Ice, but if there is a healthcare problem, I will help you solve it. So in essence, a lot of what I've focused on in my career is what is happening. Let's say I'm thinking about hospitals, for example. Right now, we are in a healthcare provider shortage, which I'm sure a lot of you experience.
I'm an RN and Deb's a physical therapist.
Yeah, so you're very busy. And so how do we help the healthcare providers now that are currently trained using AI technology, just making things more streamlined for them? And then also, how do we recruit into healthcare and very strategically? So for example, RNs, nurses are very integral in that. And then also, we're in a extreme dire situation with mental health clinicians. So bringing telemedicine, that wasn't really as widely used prior to the pandemic, and to some extent it really helped improve that, but creating certificates across the country, things of that nature. So those are just kind of two problems that I think everybody has touched, but there's a multitude, from surgery to migraines, which is a huge issue, to cardiovascular challenges that we're seeing kind of just across populations. So
We both worked in healthcare for our
Okay.
entire careers, and
Okay.
I've never heard of
No, me either.
that, so I was
Yeah,
just
I don't
very
know.
interested.
I don't know if it's, or we were probably called something before, but I've been doing
I
this.
was just thinking that you might have been called something before.
Yeah,
Sure.
All right, any other questions?
So, a couple questions, but a comment. I appreciate you're a graduate of Penn State.
Oh.
I am not, but I am
Oh.
from that area. I'm
Oh, really?
a graduate of the State College and University System, not
Oh, really?
of Slippery Rock, so.
Okay.
But know that area well. Well, first off, have you had time to familiarize yourself with any of the work of the planning board at this point, or?
I have done some research going over sort of the planning board guidance, the document from 2018, and some of the things that I've been kind of following some of the things that have been happening in town. So over, I guess, the last 2 weeks, I've tried to immerse myself. So,
Okay, and the comprehensive plan?
I'm sorry.
The comprehensive plan?
Yes.
As well, okay. And so you have your name in for both the planning board and the economic development.
Yes.
If we were to choose, which would you see a better fit for you? And it doesn't mean we can't appoint to both,
Oh,
but
yeah,
both have pretty heavy lifts.
I was thinking about this today, and it's kind of a hard call in the sense of, like, the economic board is very easy. Those things, part of my job has been to help. But I think there is potentially some aspects of kind of a different view of, I've lived in many different places, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, California, Bay Area, that could lend just sort of a different perspective to the planning board. So I don't have an answer for that,
Okay.
because I
Okay,
was
fair
struggling
enough.
with that over
Yep.
the last couple
Sure.
of days.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thanks.
Don't go anywhere right this second. So we're not going to make a decision on the planning board this evening. Adam and Chris will be here at the first meeting in October, and then we can make, we 10-10. And everyone
It's
keeps
the
an eye on
holiday,
it.
it's the holiday that gets in your way.
Right, the holidays always mess me up. I'm never off when I should be. So we will make that decision for the planning board next week. But while we have you up here, you kind of answered the economic development question. But you would be interested in the Economic Development Commission also?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone have any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Economic Development, Scott Burns. 117 Neck Road, request appointment. My favorite person. Hi, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Long time no see. So, tell me why you want to be in the Economic Development Commission.
Well, I've been very impressed by Renee Jones and the enthusiasm and energy and commitment she seems to be making to the group. And, she had spoken to me a few times about what she was hoping to try to accomplish and asked whether I might be willing to be helpful. And I indicated that I'd be happy to try to if you guys thought that would be something I should do.
Your resume is impressive. Does anyone have any questions for? No one?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, Scott, how are you?
I'm
to
good.
see
How are
again.
you?
I'm good. So any ideas you have that you would bring to the table?
Well, I've had a fair amount of experience in terms of building things, developing new initiatives, making outreaches around the world for different kinds of business opportunities. And I would hope that that experience would kind of stand me in some good stead to try to be helpful to the town in terms of thinking about ways to increase the economic vibrancy of the community.
Great. Thank you.
And at different times, my wife and I have been pretty active in terms of trying to do economic development in a mini way in Four Corners and different other parts of town. And that's generally been positive. And we love the town and we'd like to be helpful.
And you've done a nice job with the old non-quit school.
Well, thank you.
It does
From the
look-
outside, anyway.
I'm going to go inside sooner or
Big
later.
project.
Looking good, though.
Any questions or statements or?
No, just, I know you're retired now, so you have lots of time, and I know Renee has lots of ideas and does lots of work, so she's impressed upon you the amount of time that is involved with the economic development.
Well, she has, and it's a good time because we have, finished the school and we're back in town and, we're involved with a number of things, but I think I'd have the time to be helpful.
Wonderful. And the experience, yes.
Well, thank you.
Certainly have the experience and background.
Anyone else? So would we like to?
Suggest we put them both next week.
Okay. So Scott, we're going to make a decision next week on both.
Next meeting.
Fine.
Next meeting, I'm sorry, 10:10.
Well,
And we'll, either you can come or we'll let you know.
okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank
And
you,
thanks for
Scott.
taking the
Thank you.
time to consider it. And congratulations on the new dog.
Oh, thank you. He's like the star of Tiverton right now. Harbor Commission.
Moving this one to 10:10 as well?
Yeah, we're gonna move this till 10:10 because Chris will be here for, now Chris is the planning board representative on the Harbor Commission.
Right.
So that's why we have, I'm not even sure we have to appoint him. I think the planning board just assigns it.
So, no, it'd be from the Harbor Commissioner, I'd have to designate, in other words, if Chris wasn't reappointed
Right.
to the planning board.
Planning board then would
Planning
have a
board would then
problem.
have to designate somebody else to be the member associated with the planning board.
All right. So that'll be continued also. General business. Tiverton Dog Park Advisory Committee, discussion and possible vote regarding the Raymond F. Jones Memorial Park event, LalaPawrooza. It's all about dogs tonight. To be held on October 7th, 2023. Rain date October 8th, 2023, from 10 to 3. Welcome. I'm going to have you speak, and then Carol Herman is asked to speak also. Go. Do we have backup on this?
I have nothing.
Okay.
Just a correction on the time as well, it's 10 to 1?
10 to 1 is a 3-hour event.
Okay. And just give us a little brief synopsis of what it involves.
It's essentially the same event we had last year, which was home craft vendors.
Festival.
Celebration of the park. Hot dogs, a lot of the stuff we were giving away just to thank the people for coming and enjoying the park, and that was that. So.
And it's from 10 to 1. Now, there's another event, as you all know, the Tiverton Little League is sponsoring. I talked to Mike Dakotas yesterday. He figures maximum 35 cars at a time. We counted the spaces at Boogamash, and it's 81. So there shouldn't be any overflow to the library. We also counted the spaces at the library, which is 75. So altogether, you have over 150 spaces. Mike's event is going to go from 10 to 4. And as he said, it's only 2 teams playing, and the parents of those kids, and then they leave. Mike has also kindly sent out an email to all the participants at Boogamash on Saturday and asked them to please only park at the Boogamash parking lot. And he sent an email out to all of them. So as far as parking and that tournament, that should be contained.
We've also, if you don't mind me speaking.
No, of course not.
We've also contacted Chief Jones, and he's going to provide someone there to help with traffic control and proper parking.
Okay. And Mike also said that he'll be there at that tournament, so he'll make sure that people don't park 100 miles away from each other and take up a space and a half. Last time we had more concerns about Town Farm, and we didn't really think about this. So any other questions from the council? Carol, would you like to come up? Hi. We got your letter.
Yes, and I won't repeat what I wrote in the email you received last week, but I would like to address some of the false assumptions and false accusations that have been made about me and the Board of Trustees since you received the letter.
We're going to talk about LalaPawrooza because
yes,
I really don't want it to be
yes,
a one-on-one. Let's go after each
no.
other.
I'm just responding to some false assumptions that were made, and I want to make sure that you have the facts. So first is that the email I sent you last week was discussed and approved by a unanimous vote of all board members present at our meeting last week.
So it was an agenda item?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It does not represent the views of a single individual, but of the entire board. And the same is true of the email sent to the Town Council last April summarizing our meeting with the dog park chair. That letter was discussed and approved by all board members who attended that meeting before I sent it out. I'd also like you to know that the board voted to send the email last week in response to a request from our library director. She asked that we share her concerns with the Town Council about parking lot safety should 2 events take place on the same day. And the board feels that she is the person in the best position to know what will cause parking lot issues, and the board respects her judgment and supports her. So that's why we summarized her concerns and sent them to you.
But
she did say that she's now satisfied.
Okay.
I just wanted you to realize that
because we spent a lot of time looking at this over the last 2 days, and I called Mike, and I don't think there's going to be a parking issue, to tell you the truth. I may be wrong. I've been wrong in the past. But
yes, you did your due diligence, and you counted spots, and Catherine is satisfied. So when our director says she's now satisfied,
Okay.
the board's happy. It seems I also have to clarify that neither the board as a whole nor any member is anti-dog or anti-dog park. We helped welcome the dog park to the community, as the dog park chair acknowledged, by participating in their grand opening last year, and we recognize that many library patrons are dog park visitors and vice versa. We would like as many people as possible to safely participate in the dog park fundraiser, and that was really the impetus for making sure that there would be enough parking. We do also ask that the dog park event organizers respect the library's solicitation policy by choosing an area for their vendors to set up that is not on library grounds. We would also ask that the vendors not park their trucks on the library lawn as they did last year, but rather in a parking lot. And again, this year it sounds there should be enough parking. Everybody should have a spot in the library lot And so no one should have to park any vehicle on the lawn.
Carol, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So I read the solicitation policy. Now, the library is having a craft show October 20th.
Right.
So what is the difference between that and having solicitation at the dog park?
Any sales have to directly benefit the library and have to be under the direction of a librarian.
All right, so, but those people that are there, the vendors that are there, they're going to make money out also. So I assume they're paying for a table.
That's how
you do it?
my understanding is that's how the
Okay.
Friends of the Library, who are sponsoring that event like they sponsor the book sales,
Well, I read
to
the
raise
policy.
money for the library.
Right, but they're also going to make a profit because that's what they do. They go to craft shows and.
Oh, the individuals.
The individuals.
Yes, yes.
So when I read the policy, it does state that it can't be for individual profit. So I don't see what the difference between the two is.
So
Because
the
it is a-
difference is that any group then could, I mean, I suppose, I assume the town council has a policy about solicitation on municipal grounds here at town council. You wouldn't allow anybody to set up a table and sell their goods.
But if
right?
it's an event, we would change that, just as we do at the farmer's market, because that's what the farmer's market is. They come and they solicit their goods.
And they come to you with a request.
The farmer's market gets approved for the whole season.
Okay.
Correct.
Nobody has come to us, and it may well be, I can't speak for the whole board, but it could be that the Board of Trustees would be willing to make an exception, set certain limits where the tables would be, or the hours, but nobody has come to us. I can't speak for the whole committee, but I'm sure that we would be willing to hear what they'd like to do and try to make it work within a policy so that we don't open ourselves up to lots of different groups asking to do something like that every weekend.
All right, because this is a town group, a town committee, so it's a little different. It would be different than somebody else coming to us. I talked to, not the solicitor, I talked to Mike Marcello, which this isn't Mike Marcello, even though it says it is. And he was like, well, this is public property. And the town council does have some say over this besides the library board. But he said he was going to look further into it. But last year you let it happen.
Yes, quite frankly, we had no idea there were going to be vendor tables on the lawn until we arrived.
So what you're saying, and I understood that David and Catherine did have some sort of conversation, and I was present at, me and Jay had everyone together, I think a year ago, to talk and do a little kumbaya thing, and I thought we were going in the right direction. This is a town organization. They're asking to do this. I'm sure they'll be cooperative. I'm not going to speak for David, because God help me if I do, but I'm sure David will talk to you and tell you where, like, what his plans are, and what, or Mel, and what's appropriate for you, for all of you.
The Library Board of Trustees will not meet again until next month.
Okay.
So that would be the third Monday in October. We could have it on an agenda.
Could we look the other way, the way that we did last year, and then know what the problem is from this point on and move forward? And maybe Mel and Dave could have a talk with Catherine, and they can decide, what's the most appropriate thing to do. Would that be all right for this one event? I mean, I think we all got it. I think we all got that there needs to be more communication. And I feel that that's good. I feel that this needs to come out. But maybe we could kind of look the other way like we did last time, have a conversation, and make everyone happy. Would that be okay with you?
I cannot speak for the full board. I won't do that unless we've discussed it.
Okay. But the town council can direct David to talk to Catherine, and we can approve this with that caveat.
You're certainly within your authority to do whatever you wish, and I will respect that authority.
Okay. No, and I think going forward, maybe there needs to be a little more communication, and communication's always good, and Jay and I talked this week, and we're gonna have another get-together with the dog park and the library, and see what the problems are, or the lack of problems are, and see how we can all be together in a community on the same lot. Would anyone else like, John, do you have a question? You look like you're dying to ask a question.
I do. Mr. Solicitor, can you of course. Of course.
Mike,
Can you verify for me who owns the library? Like, does the town own the library?
The town owns the land and the building.
The land and the building. And so we established the library board of trustees to oversee the library. Also helps us with, getting the reimbursements from the state, right? That's the purpose of their existence, similar to the way that we have the water boards as quasi-governmental so that they can go out to bond and not encumber the town, but very similar concept. They're not quasi, yeah. I guess my point being here is that I was really shocked when I got the emails from both the library board and then also the dog park, and like this attempt to balkanize town property where it's almost as if, the library is the property of the library board and the dog park is the property of, the dog park advisory committee. And quite frankly, it's all the town's property and it's for use by all of the town's people, and both the library board of trustees and the dog park advisory committee, exist to serve the townspeople. So I'm quite frankly taken aback that we're having this conversation and there's this level of strife because this is all town property. So ultimately, my perspective is that if, let's say, there aren't enough parking spaces at Booger Marsh, there's 75 parking spaces at the library. And, my family goes to the library on a regular basis. My wife takes my 3 kids there all the time. We've got books. We actually end up paying for some of those books because my kids are little and they lose them or rip a page out or something. So we probably frequent the library more so than anybody else in this town. And I've gone several times. Those spots are never full on a Saturday. There's definitely plenty of parking there. So, my ask would be for both organizations on a go-forward basis to just communicate a little bit better so that we don't run into this, because I play dad enough at home. I'm tired of playing dad here.
I would say it would help for the board to have clarified whether we, in your eyes, can set policy for activity inside the library, and it's just outside the library that you feel the town council has the greater authority. So the library grounds, we don't have the authority to make policies about.
well, I don't think that this is an issue at all, except that the dog park is your neighbors. And the dog park is on town property, and so is the library. So I think.
So is the recreational
Right,
facility.
so-
I mean, what
right,
would happen if somebody, like, let's say, all the rec spots are full, and I want to take my kids to, play on the playground.
Right,
If I park in the library, is somebody going to come running out of the
That's not
library and tell me I can't park there?
That's not the issue here. Parking is always willingly shared as long as there is enough to accommodate everyone safely.
Carol,
So
I
we'll
don't
take
think-
overflow parking from any event, as long as it doesn't, create a public safety issue.
I just want to answer your question about inside the library. We have never interfered with that. You've run wonderful programs in there, and I don't think any of us feel.
Yeah, I don't think that was Carol's statement, though.
No,
Yeah.
but she asked inside or outside.
Well, so you seem to be just making that distinction, and I just wanted to clarify it. Mike, if you understand a little where I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think. the
'Cause that
reason-
would help us.
I think the reason that Carol asked that, because I think it is clear to everybody, in everybody's minds, that inside the building is clearly the trustees. I actually equate this, and I agree that we need to figure out a way to all come together, lock fingers, shake hands, and figure this out going forward. However, I kind of equate this when I'm looking at the statutes. The library in this role serves as the school committee does with the schools, and they have the authority over all school property, and I think the library does too. Doesn't mean we can't figure out a way to make it work, but I do think, and I'm not the lawyer, so the lawyers will have to tell me which is correct, but just the plain reading of this seems that it falls to the trustees to establish those policies and procedures for the land that falls within the library proper, including the parking spaces, the land around. At the same time, it behooves all of us, as we've been discussing, to come together and figure out how to make this work.
And as I said, we would certainly welcome being given the chance to have the discussion at one of our meetings, put it on an agenda. That hasn't happened yet.
I talked to the other solicitor about the schools, and I think that's a little bit different if you read the school statute. He said that's a little bit different because they almost rent it's kind of strange. We own the building, but it's different. That's what I understood. But not to say that you should have some say in what goes on around. But I think we all need to be cooperative. We all need to get together and figure out a way to make everyone happy. Is that a good way to put it?
Right. So just as the dog park comes in front of the town council to let you know what's going on, I think really that's all the Library Board of Trustees is asking, to please, a month before the event, ask to be on our agenda so that we can hear all of the details, we can ask questions, we can make suggestions.
Okay.
If I could interrupt, please.
Sure, and then Councilor Edwards wanted to speak.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
But go ahead.
I did send an email to Catherine in July asking if they would like to be part of the event, and the only thing I got back was we're concerned about parking. And granted, I hadn't answered her question fast enough, and I understand. I just hadn't had a chance to get in touch with the chief yet. But that was the only concern given back to me. It wasn't, we would like you to come before the board. I got none of that. I would have been happy to. If
Well,
I
I
had been
think
told
now-
that would have been, yeah, I would be thrilled
I
to.
think now I know
Good.
what.
So
what
for
we all-
next year, we can,
Absolutely.
that would be.
Or
fair.
whatever,
Yeah.
there might be another event before next year.
No, we
so-
only do
Right.
one a year.
Okay.
Right. And
Come
I think
on,
that
really?
would go a long way.
That's fine.
I did have a final
Yeah,
issue
is
I
it all right
wanted
if
to
I
get
just
to.
have,
Yeah.
Jay, did you want to say something? Because you had your hand
Well,
up.
two things. So the two big issues seem to be parking and use of the grassy knoll.
Grassy knoll, it sounds like.
All right, so the parking issue seems to not be, it seems to be a moot point now.
Yes,
What
for this
hasn't been
event.
mentioned, in the past, we have asked and received permission from Sandy Woods to use their back parking lot. So if it became absolutely necessary, and maybe not this time, but in the future, we could always make that request again, and I'm sure they'd let us do it.
They're very cooperative with that.
Second, would you guys be willing to not park vendors on the grassy knoll and put them across Roosevelt Avenue?
Across Roosevelt Avenue would not be conducive to a flow of traffic for an
It's not
event.
safe.
And people be crossing the street too, I have to agree with you, Denise.
Some library parking lot would be the option.
Well, that's the only thing, and, I mean, I could definitely we do have the Wolf Wagon coming, they could come and park in the parking lot, if that is okay with everybody. Or I can put them at the beginning of the bridge, on the Roosevelt side, whichever whatever you think is the safest. And then people do have a lot of stuff. I would ask if they are allowed to drive up to unload their cars.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, but not leave
Right.
them there.
Yes,
think that's
that
a problem.
that
Yeah.
would be
Okay.
a helpful
think it's a-
compromise.
Well, it's just a thought.
Yeah.
And if not this time, maybe it could become a condition in the future.
Much fine, I'm more than happy to work with anybody.
How many vendors? Roughly?
Maybe 8. It's a small event.
You gonna have any food trucks?
No.
Oh, no food?
No.
Last time we had puppy food trucks though.
Yeah.
No, we had the Wolf
Didn't
Wagon.
you? Yeah, you had the wolf
We
wagon.
had the Wolf Wagon. I think they do like,
So you're not gonna have anything like that?
no, nothing fantastic
so,
like
well,
that. Sorry, we are
tables
very
and-
small potatoes.
Tables and chairs and people walking around them is pretty low impact.
Yeah, we are gonna give away hot dogs.
Which you did last time.
We
It
did
was
that
very
last time,
popular.
yeah.
Carol, you were there with me
Yes,
though?
yes.
Okay.
I think the full board was there.
Yeah, Sanford was, I remember, yes. Deb,
It's a nice couple hours.
Deb, any questions?
No, I was just going to say that I wouldn't want to see the vendors spread so far out that people are walking with their dogs and in the road, because I don't think that's a safe situation. So we'd want to make sure that it's safe for the people who are there attending.
Any other questions? I hope you invited Blue.
100%.
Just wanted to.
He's gonna be our biggest draw.
Well, he doesn't have to be invited. He shows up every
Well,
month.
that's okay.
Carol, go ahead.
Yes. So, and finally, the dog park chair described in detail to you in his email the landscaping work they have done on library grounds without consulting either the library or any town official. He objects, however, to the library director and board of trustees proceeding with landscaping plans that were developed and finalized after consulting with the town administrator and head of DPW. If the town council has no objections to the dog park doing work on library property without consulting anyone, then I would certainly hope you would have no objection to the library board of trustees doing work on library grounds after consulting with the town administrator. I can assure you that the library has always respected the right of the dog park to landscape their own lot to meet their needs. We merely ask that they show us the same consideration.
Carol,
Thank
this
you for
isn't
listening.
on the agenda, but I think in some ways I need to put this on the agenda at some point. But
That's
I don't
fine.
think what I understood, because I go
You
on
guys
and
all
off
got
the
my email,
property,
so.
I think that one of the dog park people saw that the trees were falling over, Richard in particular, and he did some work to put it back up. I don't think there was any ill content on that. I think he was just
And was
helping.
thanked profusely
No,
by the
no,
library.
there, part of the wall was dismantled, however, and a truck path was laid down on library property. Again, if that work is allowed to be done without town approval, I feel we should be allowed to do work with the
I disagree. I think any
DPW
work-
and town
I think
administrator.
any work the dog park does on any property, it's all town property. Any work that they do on town property should be okay by the town administrator or us if it's necessary, and vice versa.
I'm going to disagree with that statement, Madam President. I think we need to get clarified what role the library trustees have over that property and what role they don't have over that property.
All right, so I asked Mike Marcello to write me up something, and he said he would. So I'll put it on the next agenda, or Mike's gonna put it because I won't be here. Put it on the next agenda, and we'll clarify it. How's that?
That would be helpful, because we were trying to follow the proper steps and consult with DPW and the town administrator. And so, as I said, we were rather surprised that anybody would find that controversial, because we felt we had followed the proper process. If you'd like to lay out a different process, we'd be happy to look at that and try to follow that.
I'll be honest, I think at this point, we just need to all take a deep breath and try to get along and communicate better. And I think it got a little bit over-exaggerated and people's emotions showed. So I think from now on, we need to be a little more conscious of that. And like I said, Jay and I had a meeting with the library and the dog park. I thought it went very well. And we can do it again once we clarify everything.
And I
Would that
think
be
one
all
of the outcomes of that meeting was that we should work through the town administrator, and we've certainly been trying to do that as we did with this project. So until we hear otherwise, we will continue to work with the town administrator, and hopefully that will eliminate or reduce any controversy.
Thanks, Carol.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dave, Mel, do you have anything to add? Okay, so,
All got my email.
all right, I'd like to entertain a motion for approval or non-approval, whatever.
Oh, I'll make a motion to approve the Tiverton Dog Park, LalaPawrooza, to be held on October 7th, 2023, rain date October 8th, 2023,
Bob.
from 10 to 1 p.m., correct?
Correct.
Second.
Motion's been made in second. Any further discussion? Yes.
One final point.
Bob Sodoma, don't go anywhere. Go ahead. I don't want him to leave. Go ahead.
What am I getting in trouble?
No, go ahead. Stay there.
Okay. No, the only final point I would make is that, listen, I think it was a healthy discussion that was had, but at the same time, like, guys, you got to work this out amongst yourselves. Like, we just spent an exorbitant amount of time discussing a dog park event on town property and issues between an adjacent town property. Like, we shouldn't be having these long discussions. Like, this should be quick.
I think they're healthy
I
discussions.
couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, I think it kind of aired everything out, and maybe we can move forward.
So Dave,
Yes, sir.
Are we still doing discussion?
next year you're going to have events. It'll be very, you may not be, but you guys, let me put it that way. Try to come up with what you want to do over the course of next year and come to us like February with the list. That doesn't mean you have to
It's gonna be
apply,
exactly the same.
just a list. We think we're going to do these things.
Just
So we
go
can
to the
recognize
library board, and
conflicts.
there's no reason to involve the town council in
We do have a
these issues.
calendar of events that we've been keeping track of, but no, they have to come to us. for the
Ultimately, they do have to come to us, but like,
Earlier is better.
in advance, and again, it sounds like you tried, but like in advance, just work it out between the two boards, and like we should not have to be like the parental figures between two boards like this.
John, I actually take exception to that delineation of us. I think we have a role within the town to look at issues like this. It has nothing to do with having a parental role. We have a role to work out issues within the town, and this happened to be an issue between two different bodies in the town. So it's an appropriate role for us to play.
All right, so I'm going to move on.
We have to vote.
In the motion, did we say 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.?
Yes, you
Sorry,
did.
okay,
Yes.
I'm on a lot of cold medicine. Okay, so motion's been made and second. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just take this one.
So, I get the softball one. Oh, sorry, that wasn't a pun there. Renee, if you'd like to come up. That's why I said it's a softball one. Although some softball is pretty. So Economic Development Commission, upcoming Greater Newport Chamber, October 24th, 2023 Business Walk.
Okay. Yes, okay. This is the Greater Chamber of Commerce Business Walk. This is their 4th year. We have participated in the years that they've had it. What a business walk is basically is that elect some volunteers, such as yourselves, such as yourselves, I'll say that again.
We got it.
Okay, thank you. We'll go and visit the businesses that are in Tiverton and talk to them about how business is going and any concerns that they may have. It's an excellent opportunity to hear directly from the business owners about any obstacles they may be facing and discuss ideas for improving our business environment. So what it will do is you will be, the time frame is from like 8 o'clock to noon on the 24th. You'll meet in person with the business owners and do a brief interview. And then they'll have captains for each team. And then what we're going to do is after that, there's going to be a luncheon. So that's the good part. You get to talk to the businesses, and then afterwards you'd have a luncheon to talk to meet with other companies. They are coordinating this with a survey that they're doing. Salve Regina is doing a survey reaching out to all businesses. And so what's going to happen is they'll get input from the businesses about different aspects. I haven't actually seen the survey, but the two things will be coordinated. And I think it's a good way of us getting, just reaching out to the businesses. It's just another way to encourage people to feel like we are actually listening to them. And I think it would be important for town council members to join in, if possible.
What day is that on?
It's a
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Oh, okay, I'm off.
I am going to send out invitations. As soon as they send me the information, I'm just giving you a heads up.
So I did get something from Isabel this
Marsh?
week, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it may have gone to all the council members, but it was outlining everything you just described.
Oh, good, she did, because I didn't know that she'd
You know
done
what,
that.
I will forward it to you. so
Okay.
you have it.
But whatever I get, I will forward to you as well, so I'm sure that you get it. I am
Joan,
going to send
I'm going
out.
to forward it to you, and then if you can
I
just.
might have gotten that.
Okay. I wasn't sure she was going to do that,
I did
because I had
not
asked her.
receive
So
anything.
Joan will forward what I
Not
was.
at all.
What else was I just going to say? I just got, whatever. Anyway, so I'll send all the information. What I was going to say is that I'm also planning on sending this out to the different boards and commissions so that they might be interested in acting as volunteers to go talk to the businesses as well. So it's not just on you. I am going to reach out to other boards and commissions as well. And that's really all it is. So nice and easy. Save the 24th, and the luncheon will be down in Newport at Innovate Newport.
Thank you, Renee,
Thank
for all
you.
your work.
Thank you.
Updated discussion to update and revise parking and nuisance ordinance. I assume this isn't ready? Because we didn't get back up? It's not ready?
No.
That's right. I put it here as a placeholder because Mike said that he might be able to do this.
So I spoke with the solicitor earlier this week, and I want to include recreation now that the season's over. So with the purchase of the the parking app, we want to make sure, we're going to take the season or the next 2 seasons to kind of look at it comprehensively. The fines, the Stonebridge area, and a lot of the parking ordinances that have been updated. We want to take advantage of the time before Memorial Day so we can have a complete parking comprehensive plan for the town.
So do you want me to put it on a future agenda?
At least a month, Madam President.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Town Solicitor, Rhode Island General Law, 4246582, litigation notification of claim from Attorney Levine pursuant to Rhode Island General Law, 45155. Town Solicitor, Rhode Island General Law, 42465. A2 litigation, Highland Ridge Farm LLC versus Town of Tiverton et al., NC 2023-0260, update.
So moved.
Second.